So, yo, alright. I'm glad that I became a registered independent. And I'm going to tell y'all why. I became an independent in at the time Obama ran the first time. Now, I did vote for Obama. I voted for Obama during the primaries against Hillary because Hillary was saying some racist shit that if Obama became president, terrorists would be dancing in the street. Y'all remember that. So a lot of y'all want to forget, but some of y'all remember that. So I voted for him, and there was also a scandal at that time where people who voted for Obama, those votes weren't counted, and I was kind of pissed off about that because I was wondering, did my shit count? Did my vote count? You know what I'm saying? Anyway, Obama, after he sealed the deal, decided to talk about how wonderful Ronald Reagan was and how great of a guy George Herbert Walker Bush was. And that shit pissed me off. And I was already on the establishment. I was already convinced that the Bush family and Ronald Reagan were all war criminals, let alone the Democrats, a lot of them, including the Clintons. And I could go on and on about the Clintons. But anyway, once Obama said that over and over again in national TV, kept saying that Ronald Reagan had great vision and George Herbert Walker Bush was great in bringing people together and just shit like that. I'm like, nah. So I voted for, I believe it was Cynthia McKinley. Yeah, shit. So I voted for her because her ancestors were actually slaves. I know Obama was biracial. Not that has anything to do with it. I'm just saying, I'm keeping it real. So I say that to say that I'm glad I made that choice to become an independent because when I see the Democrats and the way they talking about Bernie Sanders on Facebook and Tulsi Gabbard on Facebook and on TV, the way they're attacking Bernie Sanders is no different than the way Republicans attack people. And or no different than the way they've been attacking the Bernie Sanders and Tulsi Gabbard and Jill Stein, calling them anti-American, radical, communist, socialist. Isn't that what they called Martin Luther King Jr. when he spoke out against the Vietnam War? Does anyone out there remember or know that when Martin Luther King Jr. made that speech where he said that we should redistribute the wealth and all the money that was going to the defense contractors and the military and turn that around and use that money to create programs to end poverty. He was labeled a radical, a socialist, a communist. That's what they're doing. And if you're a registered Democrat and you're attacking Bernie Sanders because he's a radical socialist and all that, and because you think he's an idiot, then I'm convinced that you don't really care about human rights. You don't really care about freedom or justice and none of that shit. Because I had debates with registered Democrats on Facebook, and they're 100% pro-Israel, just like the Republicans are. So what's the point of being a Democrat then? I mean, what's the difference? So, and maybe I'm ranting. I don't care. This is my channel. Fuck them all. You know what I'm saying? This is why I'm glad I'm a registered independent. And it doesn't look good for Bernie Sanders, but I hope he pulls it off. Because if Joe Biden becomes the main nominee, he's not going to beat Trump. And if he does, it's going to be by a landslide. It's going to be close. And I don't see the difference between Trump and Biden. For instance, I'm pretty sure Trump and his father were against busing black children to white schools. Joe Biden voted against that. So what does that mean? It means Joe Biden is probably a fucking racist. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. He said he was willing to work with segregationists. I said that in my last video. So the way Joe Biden and Trump curse people out, make fun of people, yell at people, I don't see the difference in their attitude. You know what I'm saying? But look at the people who support Joe Biden. Look at the people who support Trump. They're like the worst scumbags you're ever gonna see I mean, some of the shit they put on Twitter, on Facebook, is just, and YouTube is just sick. You know, there's been some conservatives that said some wild shit to me on YouTube, on the comment section, because I like to comment on other videos, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, I'm glad I'm a registered independent. I don't want to have nothing to do with the Democrats. You know, as far as I'm concerned, the Democratic Party as a party is done. Bernie Sanders is really an independent, and I don't see what the problem with that is. But if Bernie Sanders loses, then what's the point of having a two-party system? I believe we should have a multi-party system. You know, where you have, I don't even know if the Republicans and the Democrats should exist because of all the things that each president from both parties have done, and as far as, you know, especially war crimes, invading other countries. You know what we did in Vietnam. That was the Democrats that supported the Vietnam War. Let's not forget that. And then we have Richard Nixon and Gerald Ford and what they did to Cambodia. And to me, what's the point of voting for any of these motherfuckers? You know what I'm saying? And then the cover-ups, the cover-up of the, well, I don't want to go there, but you know, the Kennedy assassination, the King assassination, the Robert Kennedy assassination. We could keep going. The cover-up of the Gulf of Tonka, 9/11. Before that, Flight 800 off the coast of Long Island. That was the Clintons that covered that up, along with the FBI and Navy. There's so many cover-ups that both presidents have been involved, that both parties have been involved in, that what's the point of supporting either party if they don't represent human rights? See, I'm coming from a perspective of human rights. I believe in human rights. That should be the first thing we should be thinking about. We should be thinking about, okay, how are we truly going to end poverty? What kind of programs should we have? Where the money should come from? Yeah, who's going to pay for it? You know what I'm saying? That's a question I don't mind people asking, but why? How come nobody's asking? Well, whenever we invade Syria or Libya, where the money comes from? We pay for that. We pay for that. You know what I'm saying? Through our taxes, we pay for the bombs. When we sell weapons to Saudi Arabia and they kill innocent children in a school bus, or they blow up hospitals, or they starve people to death, we're paying for that. And I don't see nobody boycotting or the wars, or boycott or forming a human chain around the Pentagon, or on the CIA building in Virginia, or the FBI building here in New York. I mean, what the fuck? You know, at least I could say I protested before. I protested under Obama, against Obama, and David Petraeus, and Henry Kissinger. I protested against all of them for all different reasons. You know, I protested against the anti-abortionists. I protested against the war on terror with a group of people. Now, eventually I left that group. I didn't agree with some of the things they believed in, but I was out there. You know what I'm saying? So, you know what I'm saying? Like, at least I was out there. I didn't see no registered Democrats or Republicans protesting like that, or protesting against the war, because they support war. You know, so what's the point of being a Democrat if you're no different than being a Republican? If you're gonna support Israel, the Republicans support Israel. So what's the difference? Y'all might as well just come together and form one party, and let people like me form a second party. But I believe we should have a multi-party system. I don't even believe we should have a president or a vice president. I believe we should have a council of like 6 or 7 people. I believe we should have no more Democrat, Republican. No. We should have a council of at least 6 or 7 people. One representing the Constitutional Party, with one Whig Party, one member of the Green Party, one member of the Libertarian Party, one from the Conservative Party, one from the Liberal Party, one from the Independence Party, and one that's just straight independent. And we should have like a communal system where people trade with each other. You know, I don't want to get deep into that, but that's what I believe. You know what I'm saying? That's what I believe. Because I just don't see this system being democratic and the way people think in social media is not democratic. The way registered Democrats are attacking Bernie Sanders is not. That's not a democratic view. That's not a pro human rights view. You know what I'm saying? So, you make fun of the '60s, peace and love. Well, you forget that Bernie Sanders met with Martin Luther King Jr. and marched with him in Chicago and in Washington and got arrested in Chicago. You forget about that, right? He wasn't no hippie Pete. He was in the trenches for civil rights, and it's the same thing that they also use on Ralph Nader. You know what I'm saying? They say, "Oh, what have you done lately?" Forgetting about all the consumer safety laws that he passed, and the fact that he was against war as well, and he was against the Vietnam War at that time, and he didn't sell out the way John Kerry sold out. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just glad I'm an independent. Fuck the two-party system. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, that's all I have to say for now. Peace.